Welcome to the Explainer. You know, some stories are so old, yet they feel like they could have been written yesterday. Today, we're getting into one of those, the incredible myth of Krishna and the serpent Kaliya. And let me tell you, this is way more than just a cool hero versus monster story. It's really a timeless look at the clash between pure malice and radical mercy.
So let's set the scene. Picture this perfect little village, Vrindavan. Life there is beautiful, and it all centers around the sacred Yamuna River. The water is described as having this incredible luster. It's not just clean, it's sparkling, it's vibrant with life. But then, almost overnight, everything changes. This source of life suddenly becomes a place of death.
I mean, the very heart of their world is now toxic. Any cattle that drink from it just drop dead. The people are overcome with anguish. Imagine that feeling. The thing that has always sustained you is now destroying you. The whole village is thrown into this state of absolute desperation.
Right away, they know this isn't just some freak natural event. No, this feels intentional. It feels evil. So the question hanging over everyone is, what kind of creature, what kind of malevolent force would want to cause this much suffering on purpose?
And we get our answer. The culprit is a massive, multi-headed serpent named Kaliya. And his motivation? It's chillingly simple: malice. We're not talking about a creature defending its territory or acting out of anger. No. This is about a fundamental desire to harm people, to cause suffering just for the sake of it.
So let's dive into our first section, a river of poison. We've got the problem, we've got the villain, now we see the real-world impact.
You can just feel the hopelessness in the village. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's an existential threat. They are completely powerless, watching their world, their animals, their entire way of life just wither and die because of this poison in the water.
All right, but into all this darkness and despair, a hero is about to step forward. And he is probably not who you'd expect. Which brings us to section 2, the hero's audacious vow.
So who do they turn to? Not some mighty king or a famous warrior. They go to a young boy named Krishna. And what's so fascinating is why they choose him. It's not just because he's brave. It's because he has this really unique combination of virtues that everyone recognizes. First off, there's his sagacity. It's a great word. It basically means he had this deep wisdom, this incredible good judgment that was just way beyond his years. He was just a kid, but people would go to him for advice like he was a seasoned elder.
Then, of course, there was his valor. And we're not talking about just being reckless or a tough guy. This was real courage. The kind that allows you to look at a terrifying, dangerous situation and act with total clarity and strength.
And maybe most importantly, all of that wisdom and courage was guided by his benevolence. This was his inner compass, a deep, genuine kindness and an unstoppable desire to help people. It's what made sure his power was always used for good. So, with these incredible qualities, Krishna makes this, well, audacious vow. It's a bold promise. He says he's not just going to go fight the serpent. He promises to restore felicity to Vrindavan, which means total, pure happiness and peace. He's aiming for nothing less than a complete restoration. And that vow leads us straight into the most iconic part of this story. Section 3, a dance on a serpent. And trust me, this is no ordinary fight scene.
Because what we're really seeing here is a clash of ideals. On one side, you have Kaliya. He's all about savage ferocity, cunning tricks, that guile, and this overwhelming toxic pride, or hubris. And on the other side, you've got Krishna. His weapons are prudence, or careful judgment, unwavering persistence, or tenacity, and this expressive power, this eloquence. It's brains versus brawn, but on a cosmic scale.
So how does he do it? How does wisdom beat raw power? He doesn't try to outmuscle the monster. Instead, Krishna leaps onto Kaliya's many heads, and he starts to dance. I mean, just picture that, this divine, graceful, rhythmic dance that subdues this raging serpent, not with violence, but with perfect balance, unrelenting pressure, and just grace.
Okay, so Kaliya is defeated. Krishna has won. But this is where the story takes its most surprising turn. The fight is over, but the real climax is what Krishna chooses to do next. Let's move to section 4,
mercy for the monster. As this beaten serpent is lying there, bleeding and exhausted, his wives emerge. And they don't try to make excuses for him. They don't defend his evil. Instead, they beg for mercy, and they call his actions folly, pure foolishness. And that single word, that plea, it shifts the whole energy of the scene away from revenge and toward the possibility of forgiveness.
And this kicks off a clear 4-step path to redemption. First, Kaliya is subdued. That dance has completely broken his pride, his hubris. Second, humbled, the serpent actually shows true remorse or contrition. He gets it. Seeing this, Krishna makes his move. He spares Kaliya's life, but banishes him from that river forever. And that last step is key. It's redemption. This isn't just a punishment. It's a second chance, a chance to go live a new life, one without malice.
So what guides this incredible decision? It's a virtue called rectitude. Think of it as profound moral integrity. It's about choosing the right path, not the easy one or the most satisfying one. Killing Kaliya would have been simple vengeance, but Krishna's rectitude, his moral correctness, demanded something higher, a solution that led to transformation, not just destruction. And really, that choice, that incredible act of mercy, is what makes this story so powerful and timeless. So that brings us to our final section, 5, a legacy of compassion. So what happens? With Kaliya banished, the poison is gone. The Yamuna is purified and becomes a source of life again. Harmony, prosperity, that felicity Krishna promised, it all comes rushing back to Vrindavan. And it's all a direct result of compassion winning out over conquest.
So when we pull back, what are the big takeaways from this ancient myth? Well, there are a few huge ones. First, that true strength isn't about raw power. It's found in compassion. Second, that wisdom and careful judgment will always beat brute force in the end. Third, it's a warning. Hubris and malice, that toxic pride and evil intent, will only ever lead to your own downfall. And finally, that moderation, choosing the balanced path, is the real secret to lasting harmony.
The story of Krishna and Kaliya might be thousands of years old, but you can see its themes everywhere. Which leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In our own world, in our societies, even in our own lives, where do we see this exact same battle between arrogant force and courageous compassion playing out right now?